Welcome to Circuit Zolder and the 6th round of the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Norbert Kish at the top of the Drivers' Championship is 67 points clear coming here, but over in the Chrome class it is much closer. Bradley Smith has a slim lead at the moment, but the likes of John Newell, Mark Taylor and Clemens Hecker are only separated by 1 point each as it stands coming to Zolder. So these guys are going to be doing the maths as they race and just seeing whether they can get those tiny advantages over on one another. Jochen Hahn and his son Lucas had a fantastic time here last year. Lucas isn't racing here with us this weekend, but I'm sure he'll be on site supporting his father with the team, hoping for some big points from the weekend. Will the weather hold out? We'll have to wait and see. Join us on Saturday and Sunday for our 2 qualifying broadcasts and 4 race broadcasts, and we're sure it will be an absolute cracker. Our grid is formed here ahead of race 1 of the weekend. We had a very interesting qualifying session that has given us a right spicy grid, as we'd say in the north of the UK. The first driver I'd like to speak to today is Sascha Lenz. He starts on 2nd position on the grid, and he has got Norbert Kish alongside him on the front row. Sascha, we had a quick word earlier on during the autograph session. You're a happy boy today, aren't you?
Ja, ich bin natürlich sehr glücklich heute. Das Auto funktioniert sehr gut. Ich komme immer besser mit dem Auto zurecht. Wir brauchen noch ein richtiges Setup, aber nichtsdestotrotz, jetzt ist Rennen. Im Rennen kann alles anders laufen und von daher, ich werde mein Bestmögliches versuchen. Ich werde versuchen, meinen Platz zu verteidigen in den ersten 2-3 Runden und dann gucken, wie das Rennen sich ergibt.
Starting the weekend on the front row of the grid was a fantastic way to kick it all off for Sascha Lenz. He would line up alongside Norbert Kish and the two would be side by side into the first couple of corners. Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete were next up behind, with Clemens Hecker 5th fighting with Steffi Halm. Stefan Kirsch unfortunately ended up in the gravel at turn 1 but managed to continue. Norby would open up a slim advantage in the first lap, while in the background it was all the Chrome drivers having a big scrap with René Reinert and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. The two had made mistakes in qualifying and earned penalties of different kinds, which is why they were at the back of the grid. They needed to fight forward as quickly as they could to get with the other Titan drivers. René would unfortunately get an overspeeding penalty during the race, which would drop him again down the order. It wasn't looking to be a good start to the day. He found himself behind Luke Garrett, who despite the reliability issues at the start of the year was now on song and putting in some good pace. This little moment between René Reinert and Louis Requenco was caught on camera, as Louis didn't want to give an inch and tried to fight as long as he could. In the scrap as well, Luke Garrett found himself muscled off the circuit by Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and it wouldn't be the first or last time that he would leave the circuit. He managed to get one over on Louis Requenco as well, down into the Villeneuve chicane with a nicely stowed rear wheel arch. The Chrome battle spanned over 6 trucks, and at the front of the field it was just 2 trucks fighting for second place. Jochen Hahn tried this move on Sascha Lenz, but went a bit hot into the chicane and would give the position back after Sascha cut across the gravel. Jochen later on said that at the end of the day he had to try something, and he had a really good fun time fighting with his countrymen. René Reinert made this move past Clemens Hecker, who was making his way towards another Chrome victory. René had put in a great drive though from the back of the order to make his way through. Norbert Kish took another brilliant win in the first race of the day, and Sascha Lenz's second place went down very well with his team, finishing ahead of Jochen Hahn. Albacete and Steffi Halm completed the top 5 positions. Clemens Hecker took another victory in the Chrome class, which now put him right in the fight and at the sharp end of the categorisation. All smiles though, as another day at the office got underway for Norbert Kish and Revech Racing. Great stuff though as well from Sascha Lenz.
Chaz, I'm here with Jochen Hahn. Great race for you. Tight one with Sascha off the start there. Talk us through it.
And then I lose it in the time practice. I have the mistake with René, so I'm position 3. But I have still a fantastic race with Sasha. And one time I look to do it, but I'm a little bit too late. So he's second, I'm third. I'm happy.
And looking ahead to race 2, do you think you can take it back to the fight with them, maybe get back on the podium again?
Yeah, I feel the speed today, it's what we think, it's perfect. So we make racing, that's it.
Big smiles on the face of Norbert Kish as he starts another weekend with a race victory. Sascha Lenz in second position and Jochen Hahn in third. Albacete and Halm complete the top 5, with Clemens Hecker taking another all-important victory in the Chrome class. Welcome back to the grid here at Circuit Zolder for the second race of the 6th round of the championship here in 2025. We've had interesting conditions throughout the start of this day and a rather stable race 1, it's safe to say. There's been a few penalties handed out in between the races as well. There's been 5 seconds here, 5 seconds there, but no major changes of position. Luke Garrett did drop down a few spots in the Chrome battle, and obviously René Reinert dropped down quite a few positions after his 10-second penalty that he received earlier on. I'm stood here at the front of the grid. The grid walk is just beginning now and everybody is going to make their way down, but we're going to have a quick word with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who starts this race from pole position. Now, he obviously had a bit of a difficult start to his day earlier on, but he's now on the very front row. Jose Eduardo, good to see you. Considering how difficult the start of your day was, not bad to be on pole position. You must be quite pleased.
Yeah, I have a difficult start in the morning, but I changed my mind and try to be calm and get some place in the race. And now I start in the pole position. I try to secure my position and, if it's possible, win.
We'd seen Jose Eduardo Rodriguez take race victories from pole position before, so why not do it again now? Mark Taylor would join him on the front row in a wonderful reminisce of the 2024 Chrome category fight. Norbert Kish and Sascha Lenz would start on the 4th row of the grid, with Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete just in front of them, making life difficult. There was this moment for Clemens Hecker, who was hoping to hold on to some Chrome positions on the opening lap. He would get swallowed up by the Titans and tried to struggle on from there to hold back some other Chrome competitors. Big lock-up from Antonio Albacete on the first lap, but everybody made it through safely. It was great to watch the field as ever on this tight and twisty circuit, the narrow confines of Zolder only exaggerating the size of these racing machines. René Reinert continued on his forward progress over the day, taking Clemens Hecker down the inside into the chicane, despite a little bit of a love tap on the way through. Unfortunately for René, it would once again be a race where he ended up with a penalty, so he had to watch over his shoulder to consider where he'd eventually finish. Albacete had his ex-teammate Norbert Kish right behind, with Sascha Lenz in their mirrors as well. Mark Taylor hoping to take a win in Chrome. Norby made a lovely clean move down the inside of the 23 into the final chicane and would go on chasing down the Ivecos. Sascha Lenz wanted to try and take advantage as well, though he wasn't very far behind at all, while Mark Taylor knew that in the final laps of the race he would have to just pick his battles. Jochen Hahn made this move down the inside of Steffi Halm, but Steffi was having none of it, and the two went flying formation through the Villeneuve chicane, looking fantastic, but holding themselves up for an attack from Norby. The Hungarian would move left and right, filling the mirrors of the white and red Iveco, but as ever, Steffi drove a great defensive drive. The two of them were locked in battle for many laps. This move into the chicane for Norby didn't quite work on this occasion, but it was becoming more and more clear that something was coming to boiling point. They were door to door for 4 or 5 laps around this very twisty circuit, and Steffi was putting the Iveco in the right place at the right time. Antonio Albacete and Sascha Lenz had both closed in, so as soon as anything was going to give, somebody, somewhere, was going to benefit a lot. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez got away from Jochen Hahn at the front and tried his best to hold him off. At the very front of the field, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez hadn't been putting in fast enough laps to stay away from Jochen Hahn. Jochen had closed him down with the help of Steffi battling with Norby, and soon the German made his move. Down the inside into turn 1, it was a lovely clean out braking manoeuvre, and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez was very respectful in being overtaken. Unfortunately, the boiling point came just a lap or so later. Norbert Kish down the inside of Steffi Helm into the chicane, led to contact on the exit, which pitched Norby across the circuit, and Antonio Albacete had nowhere to go. A very scary accident, but luckily all drivers were okay. The trucks were mainly just cosmetic damage, but of course it was going to be a big repair for everybody else involved. Another view here shows that Norbert was down the inside into the chicane, ran slightly wide partway through, making a little knock with Steffi, but then this wheel-to-wheel contact pitched the Hungarian across the road, and Albacete had nowhere to go at all, pieces flying everywhere. Another view here from Steffi's onboard camera. And another example of just how quickly wheel-to-wheel contact can pitch these 5-ton machines into a spin. The race would be red flagged, and the teams would have to get ready to fix the trucks up overnight. Reveche Racing going through until 2 AM to get the number 1 machine underway.
Sorry to catch you straight after that, but a big incident there just from your side. What exactly happened?
You know, it's always very quick. We were fighting for many laps, Norby and me, and he was faster. He tried it a few times, and he was always fair. We gave us the space and the exit. And then when we come after the right-hander, I don't know the turn, but the medical center is, he went inside, he was on my back wheel, and he didn't reduce the speed, so I gave him the space for the chicane for the inside. The left-hander, I went on the outside with him, but he didn't give me the space then in that corner. I think he was too fast, so I cut, and then I don't exactly know. We had for sure a little contact, but then there was a massive oversteering. I don't know if it's because of my hit or the contact or why. Too much accelerating, I don't know. And then he spun directly in front of me, so I can go nowhere. And that was the problem, but I don't know. He was on the track again, so I think with him it's all okay, but Antonio, I don't know.
Okay, so post-race 2, I'm here at T-Sport Bernau with Antonio Albacete. Antonio, obviously the main thing, great to see that you're okay. Not a nice thing to have at the end of a race like that. Could you talk us through it from your perspective?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's not nice, but it's what I tell him some years ago, that the second races are a little bit crazy sometimes, you know. Yeah. I mean, it's an incident. I think I didn't see clear what happens, you know, because I see that Steffi and Norby were fighting and they were coming very, very slow for the corner. So I go in the inside a little bit faster than them, and then I just see Norby sideways pushing me to the wall. So
and you did everything you could to get out of the way, but it was just that Norby was so far over already.
I mean, it was no room to get out of the way. And then the problem was that my feet was between the clutch pedal and the footrest.
Oh right.
And I was not able to take it away.
Oh, no.
I was not no possible. So that's why I stay on the track, you know. So anyway, it was lucky that nothing happened to the feet. So and nothing happened to any one of us. So that's good.
I was going to say, it seemed confusing at first why it stopped. Obviously, we knew it was a big impact and it was likely the truck could not continue, but obviously it's these little details that we're coming to ask you about. Do you reckon it'll be fine for tomorrow, surely?
I think we have to ask to team. I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. At the moment, I have a paper from the medical center that I can race.
Oh, good.
So that's good. So we will see if the track is fixed and we can race tomorrow.
Okay. So So Jochen Hahn takes his first race victory of the season with another podium for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Antonio Albacete was eventually promoted to third position, with Steffi Halm being knocked down 5 seconds, and Norbert Kisch getting 5 seconds for his part in the incident, and also 10 seconds for overspeeding. So not the best day at the office for Norby, but he would come back strong as ever on Sunday. With the sun shining, everybody returned to the circuit on Sunday with high hopes for an entertaining day. Norbert Kisch and Jochen Hahn once again formed the front row of the grid, with Antonio Albacete and René Reiner alongside one another on row 2. This big shoulder barge out of the way by Jose Eduardo Rodriguez would not only harm René's chances of big championship points, but also earn himself a 5-second penalty for forcing another truck off the circuit. The chrome battle was fierce, with Luke Garrett having one of his best ever qualifyings in the championship, leading the way from the opening laps. Once again, more fantastic shots as these machines make their way over the crests of Zolder. Norbert Kisch seemed to be a little bit less confident than usual in the opening lap, and it looked like Jochen Hahn might have had the legs on him, but soon Norby turned the wick up and moved away. Clemens Hecker, on the other hand, had the wick turned down. They seemed to be having some brake issues after qualifying and weren't able to get to the bottom of them, so his confidence had been shot slightly. Stefan Fass, in the meantime, was going quicker than usual, and the truck was starting to show some reliability, a great step forward for the number 24 squad. However, this moment would be a pivotal one in the race. An issue with the gearbox meant that he had to slow down for a section of the lap and would lose positions. Norby opened up a great lead at the front in the sunshine, with Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete chasing them down. The top three, 15 championships between them, showing the great pedigree still on the grid in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. The young pedigree was on show as well though, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez holding off Sascha Lenz in a great chase all the way to the flag. René Reiner and Steffi Halm started to improve their lap times in the later stages of the race as well, so everybody held their breath to see whether they'd catch up and make up positions. Norby started to disappear over the horizon, and it looked like he was right back in the rhythm after the damage received in the Saturday afternoon crash. The team had put a new engine in the truck at the start of the weekend as well, and it seemed that despite having a bent rear axle, it was still very much on song. A little moment for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in one of the chicanes really opened things up to the drivers behind, but it would make no difference in the end. Norbert Kisch took another victory to add to his tally, with Jochen Hahn in second place and Antonio Albacete completing the podium in third. And in the Chrome class, it was Luke Garrett's first ever victory in the category, something that he and the team would celebrate long into the night. Another great victory for Norbert Kisch to add to the impressive tally here in 2025, moving one step closer towards winning his 7th title.
So, amazing race as usual, make that look pretty easy. How was it for you?
Oh yeah, it was a good one. Good start. Yeah, well, big thank you for the Davis Racing team, and the guys, because they fixed the truck, from the crash of yesterday, and it works really well. Already, qualifying was nice, and then the race as well. Good start. First lap was a bit, so not so confident, because of the dirt on the circuit and everything. But then I picked up the pace and could go ahead and leave Johan a bit behind. So overall I think very good race.
Reigning champion Kish completed another race 1 and 3 sweep of the weekend, continuing on at least 40 points from a weekend in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Jochen Hahn finished second, with Antonio Albacete third, and a great first win in Chrome for Luke Garrett and the team to celebrate. With the sun shining, everybody returned to the circuit on Sunday with high hopes for an entertaining day. Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn once again formed the front row of the grid, with Antonio Albacete and René Reiner alongside one another on row 2. This big shoulder barge out of the way by Jose Eduardo Rodriguez would not only harm René's chances of big championship points, but also earn himself a 5-second penalty for forcing another truck off the circuit. The Chrome battle was fierce, with Luke Garrett having one of his best ever qualifyings in the championship, leading the way from the opening laps. Once again, more fantastic shots as these machines make their way over the crests of Zolder. Norbert Kish seemed to be a little bit less confident than usual in the opening lap, and it looked like Jochen Hahn might have had the legs on him, but soon Norby turned the wick up and moved away. Clemens Hecker, on the other hand, had the wick turned down. They seemed to be having some brake issues after qualifying and weren't able to get to the bottom of them, so his confidence had been shot slightly. Stefan Fass, in the meantime, was going quicker than usual, and the truck was starting to show some reliability, a great step forward for the number 24 squad. However, this moment would be a pivotal one in the race. An issue with the gearbox meant that he had to slow down for a section of the lap and would lose positions. Norby opened up a great lead at the front in the sunshine, with Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete chasing them down. The top three, 15 championships between them, showing the great pedigree still on the grid in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. The young pedigree was on show as well though, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez holding off Sascha Lenz in a great chase all the way to the flag. René Reiner and Steffi Halm started to improve their lap times in the later stages of the race as well, so everybody held their breath to see whether they'd catch up and make up positions. Norby started to disappear over the horizon, and it looked like he was right back in the rhythm after the damage received in the Saturday afternoon crash. The team had put a new engine in the truck at the start of the weekend as well, and it seemed that despite having a bent rear axle, it was still very much on song. A little moment for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in one of the chicanes really opened things up to the drivers behind, but it would make no difference in the end. Norbert Kish took another victory to add to his tally, with Jochen Hahn in second place and Antonio Albacete completing the podium in third. And in the Chrome class, it was Luke Garrett's first ever victory in the category, something that he and the team would celebrate long into the night. Another great victory for Norbert Kish to add to the impressive tally here in 2025, moving one step closer towards winning his 7th title.
I'm here with our race 4 winner, René. Fantastic race. You've become the 3rd multiple overall winner this season. Talk us through your race.
The race was perfect. You know, second position from the start, and then already in the first corner, I could overtake the first one, and then I could make my race. And this was it felt really good. You know, was really confident and without any mistakes, and I could make a bigger gap. Also to Rodriguez, so it was perfect actually.
I'm here with Chrome race 4 winner, Mark Taylor. Mark, congratulations firstly on that win. From your side, just talk us through the race.
Yeah, it were a good race. I wasn't expecting to get so many positions first off, but the opportunities come and you have to take them. Once we started getting a flow, then the race just come into a rhythm and you just go on your own then.
So René Reinert takes his second race victory of the season. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Norbert Kish also joining him on the podium means it was a podium full of our multiple race winners this season. Norby could now win the title as we head to Le Mans, his 7th record-breaking title as well, while Mark Taylor is now back at the top of the Chrome Championship where we've seen him before. It should be a fantastic time as we head to France in just a few days, and we hope you'll join us for the action there.